Today on Gamer's Couch,
Colt Express.
I think he has a cold. Hi, welcome to our Sunday.
Hello.
It's Gamer's Couch time. We're sitting on the couch
Again,
as so many times already, but it's fun still. So welcome, and hope you have a great Sunday just like us. Very productive already, and it's time to talk about a very nice game. I already gave away what I think about it. Oops. So if you're new to this vlog, we're starting off by shooting the wife, and then explaining rules and gameplay. That's his job, and then we go into likes and dislikes, any funny stories and experiences that we had with the game. And again today, can you hold the box into the pit? I knew it. Why am I? So that's the game Colt Express that we're gonna talk about today. So honey, let's have another challenge. Let's try to keep it under 45 minutes.
under 5 hours.
Yeah. So sorry.
Let me try to explain to you Colt Express in one sentence. That would be once upon a time in the West, the good, the bad, and the ugly are fighting over a fistful of meeples, something like that. Now two things may happen now. Either you think I'm super stupid for that lame reference, or you think that was a clever reference. In either way, if you kind of recognize what I was talking about, you may be applicable as a target group for this game, because it is the Italo spaghetti western kind of game where you'll be playing a robber or an outlaw that tries to out-tuco all the other gamers at the table by being meaner than they are, stealing more money than they steal, and shooting everybody while trying to avoid the marshal in the train. One thing that is actually very special about this game and really nice... Oh no, we have to quit the video now because I also said what I think about the game. Anyway, so this game comes with a little train that you have to assemble, and that is sort of your playing board, where your little meeples, and they're not just meeples, they're cowboy meeples, so they have little
Pew pew.
little guns with them. So your folks will be starting on the train depending how many players you have. You have more wagons than that. I think it's one more per than players are in, or something like that. And you'll move about the train. Obviously, there's also passengers in the train, and each train card, and that might be impossible for you to see, but this one has a little icon in here that tells you how much loot is in the wagon. And there's essentially just 3 types of loot. The ones you typically find in the trains are the money bags and the rubies or gemstones. But there's also the briefcase of money that's in there. And surprise, if you turn those around, they have different dollar values attached to each other. While the briefcase is always worth 1,000, and the rubies are always worth 500. So you'll move about the train, shoot at other players, try to grab the money that's on the floor. If there's no money on the floor, you can punch other players to make them drop money, and then steal that from them while going on a wild ride. So let's take a step back and take a look at the mechanics of this game. So depending on the number of players, you either pick cards from the 2 to 4 player or 5 to 6 player. I still need to check because old man needs to, So you pick those cards, select a couple of them, and they essentially will tell you what happens along your ride. So each of those has a nice little comic-y artwork on it, and more importantly, these symbols at the top, where there's a special symbol that counts for the entire turn round, whatever you want to call it, and it's typically something that is not good for the outlaws. It may be something where the marshal is also shooting in a direction you didn't expect to, or the train is stopping and everybody's thrown into the front car and stuff like that. There's also, and actually, yeah, I think that is a good card to start off. So these symbols up here tell you how this turn or how this round is played. Essentially, it means how many cards each player plays, and we'll get to the cards soon, but you essentially control your character by playing cards from your hand, and how those are played is explained on this card. So this card says the first 2 cards are played openly, so everybody sees what everybody's playing. Let's assume I'm starting, I'm playing my first card, the next player is playing his card, and so on. And then the second card is also played openly. But if the train goes through a tunnel, that card is played face down. So one of the big things you may already have gathered from this, you're trying to figure out what the other players are going for, what they're doing, trying to avoid being shot, avoid being punched. And obviously those train tunnels kind of help out mixing things up by having everybody play a card that you may not have expected because they kind of sidestepped or did something else. So that continues on until you reach one of these 3 randomly chosen end cards, which are very much similar to the other cards. They just have 3 different end-turn bonuses and have another round of playing cards openly and in a tunnel. So, how do you move your character? You end up with a deck of cards, and I have to. Oh, that's the character card. So you end up with a deck of cards, which are some are in here twice, some are in here only once. And shall we take a look at what's in here? So there's a card that allows you to move 1 train wagon to the side, left or right, and you can decide where to go once this card is resolved. So you don't play it and say, I'm going in that or this or that direction. Everybody else just knows you'll move to one of the next wagons or on top of the train. Which brings us to the next card that allows you to go on top of the train or go down below. So usually with this card you're only allowed to move 1 wagon unless you move to the top of the train where your meeple can have to stuff on here. So you literally place your meeples on top of the train or inside the wagon, and once you're on top of the train, moving left or right allows you to move along the entire length of the train, which is a pretty cool thing to do. So what else can you do? You can rob someone. And robbing is this beautiful card that either allows you to pick up something that's on the ground belonging to the passengers in the train, or in conjunction with this card, the punch card, if you punch someone, like another player, you move him into the next wagon and you have to choose one of their loot drops that they already gathered to drop it onto the wagon you are in. So you could literally pull a 1-2 punch by punching them, having them drop something, and in the next card would be pick up whatever they dropped, unless they figure out what you want to do, maybe punch you first or move away. And whenever you play a card that cannot be resolved, it's just nothing happens. Last, or no, not last, there's actually 2 more cards. So the other one, shoot people. You can only shoot someone who's in the next wagon, left or right from you, if you're downstairs, or if you're upstairs, any distance, but you cannot shoot someone who is standing behind someone else. So you always have to pick the closest target to one side or another. You cannot shoot someone who's in the same spot as you are, would be the simple explanation. And what happens if you shoot someone is you have 6 shots, resembled by these 6 cards here, that are openly in front of you, and whenever you shoot someone, you pick one of those cards and put that on their deck. They're essentially worthless in their hand. What's good about them for you is that the other player now has more cards that are essentially junk in their deck, and whenever they draw cards, they might be limited in what they can do, or they might be forced, instead of taking an action, to draw 3 more cards, which is always an option to do something interesting. Last but not least, now that we're at the last card, you can play this card to move the Marshal. The Marshal is this yellow meeple dude who always starts in the train front, always sits on the suitcase at the beginning. And the special rule about the Marshal is whenever he moves into a wagon that has another player in there, first of all, that other player gets shot by the Marshal and also gets a being shot card, but a neutral one. Secondly, that player must flee to the top of the train, so they're moved out of the wagon on top of the wagon. And with that, you can kind of prevent people from picking up stuff in wagons, or can move them away unexpectedly and do some really nasty things in there. So that's stuff that is available to every player. Fortunately, and I can now show you the big cards which came with our Essen copy. I think those were the promo stuff.
I think
there.
so, yeah.
So typically each deck comes with a small card that gives you a hint at what's the special ability, because there's different characters, and there's actually a proper Tuco in this game. So you can be the slimy, greasy outlaw to do some interesting stuff. So each of these characters has a different special ability which might come in handy. For example, let's stay with Tuco. Tuco's special ability is if he shoots, instead of shooting left or right, he can shoot up or down at someone who's on top of him or below him. We have Ghost. Ghost is able to play the first card each turn face down, as if he were in a tunnel, which is actually pretty nice. Django,
with a silent D. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. I'm sorry.
So Django can, if Django shoots someone, that has a similar effect to punching someone by moving him back one wagon on the train. There's Doc. Doc comes with 7 cards in his hand instead of 5 each round. And there's Belle, the Beautiful. So this woman is actually so the way her special works is if she's standing in the same place as someone else and you try to punch her or shoot her, the other player must take the punch or the shot, because, well, it's a...
You don't hit a beautiful woman.
It's a woman in simpler Western times where you kind of sacrifice everybody else before sacrificing the woman. We are all very happy that we left those times behind us, but let's commemorate those oldie times by pretending that, well, guys are worth less than women, which is not the case anymore.
Thank God.
No, I would keep
evolution.
I would keep that one out of the...
No, thank evolution.
But we're not done yet, so there's at least one more woman in this game, which is Cheyenne. And Cheyenne's special ability is that whenever she punches someone, because she's quick, she immediately picks up the loot instead of doing that. Am I right about that?
Yeah. Because otherwise you have to play 2 cards, and with her you play 1 card and you can take the loot right away.
I hope that I remember her rule right.
Yeah, sounds good. You played her like that, at least. Huh. You can correct us in the comment section below if he's screwing up things already.
I'm fairly certain that's the way she's played. That's the game. It's very simple. It mostly comes down to you flip over the turn card. Everybody plays a card from his hand. If you cannot play a card, you may draw new cards. At the end of the turn, you scrap your entire hand and draw a new hand for the next turn. That's why those shots really hurt you. And one of one of the rule. I think it's the variant that says that you can place the shot cards directly on top of the draw deck, so that you must draw them next turn. And the basic rules say you shuffle the deck with the cards that you just played, which makes things a little bit easier. I think that variant isn't too bad in terms of making things a bit more complicated or a bit more predictable in terms of if you shoot someone, you know that he's handicapped for the next turn. But that, I think that is entirely up for personal preference, because we are now venturing into what I think about the game, and only my opinion counts. You may say something as well.
Can
But
I
no
shoot
opinion.
him?
No
Can I
opinion.
can I shoot him, please? Audience, say yes so that I can shoot him with, I don't know, water pistol or something.
You shouldn't.
Unbelievable.
So, to sum up my opinion in one sentence, you shouldn't play this game to win this game.
Yeah. So, by the way, just for me in editing and everything and having the lovely screen, we're going into the next section, which is likes and dislikes. And that's usually the most fun part before we go into the final chapter.
So, what do I mean with you shouldn't play this game to win this game? First of all, it's marvelous to look at. That train, you have even little props that you can put beside the train, and if you're playing,
That's your face.
if you're playing with kids, or my dad who's really into
Pretty
the
much a big
spaghetti
kid.
spaghetti western thing, that is something that picks up. The theme is amazing in this, with everybody running around like headless chicken in the train. And yes, you can kind of deduce what everybody else is playing because you see some of them, the cards they play, but at the end of the day, they can only play what they have in hand, and well, there's only one punch card. So does he have the punch card on hand, or doesn't he? So there's a lot of unexpected. Oh my God! It's a kind of the take that thing where you screw somebody else over. I meant that literally. You can try to out Tuco everybody else by screwing them. In terms of seemingly not shooting at them, but then somebody else ducks and you shoot them, but that kind of screws the next turn, and you may punch them or not, or you may move the marshal, and that kind of screws literally the entire round up, because suddenly now you're in a different spot than you were before, and instead of moving to the next wagon, you're on top of the next wagon, which doesn't help you at all, which makes things quite, and here's the point, sometimes frustrating and sometimes hilarious. So if you're playing this game, and I strongly recommend playing this with 3, at least, preferably 4, actually preferably 5 or even 6 players. This game gets more fun and hilarious the more players you have. Yes, the turns take a bit longer.
But not really.
The
it's
game,
like a split second longer.
Yeah, the game itself is short anyway.
Yeah.
You're blazing through a round quite quickly, resolving that, and at the end of the game, counting who's the highest score. But kind of, that I was about to say, that is kind of irrelevant who wins at the end of the game. It's a fun group experience, and I think that this is great for kids because it has a lot of stuff to play with. It's almost like a toy in that regard. It's just looking nice. You have these beautiful, cheeky characters that are all kind of the over-the-top version of the over-the-top version that you know from the movies anyway. So that's really cool. That being said, if you're looking for a game to play maybe every week, which includes some strategy or includes some more thicky stuff, or going into the game having a plan that will win you the game most of the time, that's not the game for you. As I said, it's a fun. I'd hesitate to call it a filler game because it's a tidbit too long for being a filler game for in between. But it certainly is a game where I would say if someone brings it up, I wouldn't say no to play it. But it might not be the game each weekend where I'd say I'd really want to play that one again. It's more like yeah, we have that family meeting. There's some folks coming over who are not big into games or who haven't played games that long or that much and rather play the game with simpler mechanics. Then I would bring that one at least among a selection of other games where I knew, yeah, that would be something they might be interested in from the theme. That might also be something that gets some laughs out of the table, and the people at the table. It's like, yeah,
it's a nice mental picture.
The table is mocking you. So,
Gosh. Wow, nice.
But I think you're getting where I'm going with this. So yeah, I'd say this gets I'm blanking on a funny comparison. It's
you can are you with a comparison for the rating? Mm-hmm. Maybe you want to wait with the rating until I set my 2 cents and then we rate together.
No,
you're really going for the 30 minutes here.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I said,
but I wanted to give you some time to.
I wanna speed up. So I'd say this gets four hits out of a 6 shot. Now it's your turn.
Do you have a band-aid?
And that's it. Goodbye. I was.
Wow, manners, great.
45 minutes. We don't have time. I have to hang on.
We're within 24 minutes. It's fine.
Talk.
Okay, so this is pretty much what I'd consider a classic family game. So it's not heavy on the mechanics. It's very easy to teach, very easy to learn, and it's already fun to prepare the game. Like when you buy it and you put the trains together, you have a wonderful guide how to put them together, which part goes where. So it's even very nice to put it together with smaller kids. I'm gonna shoot you, really. I'm gonna shoot you. Don't distract me. So I really... Honey? See, I got the kid at home, so I know what it's like to build the train with a kid. It's really simple, it's very nice, it's quickly done, and you can start playing. So that's a very good thing. And especially when you have gamers with you that are more on the light side of games, that don't like the heavy, long games.
To the dark side.
One day once you're done talking with your part, I'm gonna put a gag ball into your face while I make my party.
Like you.
Yeah, right. So, damn it, now it distracted me.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, you were. Oh yeah. It's very nice when you have a gaming group that is not very fond of the heavy games, the long games with a lot of strategy and things to think about, but that is more on the what is to be considered a classic family game, where you have one main mechanic, maybe two, and it's simple enough to pick up quickly and just enjoy playing together. I agree with you that the game is sparkling at 4 or 5 players. If I remember correctly, we haven't tried 6, but I guess it's going to be the same experience. There is a 2-player version which is doable, but I don't prefer it.
There's a 4-player version for 2 players.
Yeah, it's
real 2-player.
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing, but it's okay if you only have 2 players and you want to play the game, or you want to test play it before playing it with a bigger group or something. Also, I really like the components. The artwork of the characters is very goofy, very funny. The only thing with those cards or the the train itself. If you have somebody with you that has like the huge hands, the big fingers, that could be a bit tricky to pull out those tiny things out of the wagon without destroying the whole thing and moving it all across the table. But then again, ask another person to give you that one piece of loot that you just got, or move your character. So your dad with the not too steady hands, with big hands also, had a bit of trouble, but you know, you can always work around it, so that's totally fine. I also like that this game has what I think is a poker component. So you called it deduction. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. The columns are on the inner parts. I put it together nicely.
So it's on the inner part so that you don't see them?
Yes, right. At least when you look at the picture. And he's just rebuilding my trains. So, sorry for going off rail. Pun intended. So I really like... where was I? Fuck it. Sorry.
So,
beep!
Newsflash, I have the sun in my face, which makes me way more shiny.
Yeah, you're a ghost. You're playing the white
I'm the light side now. So the what I just said with Giant, because I glimpsed at the very small, almost, I think it's 3-page. It's big pages, but it's like the one of the smallest manuals we have. So Cheyenne, yes, picks up the loot after she punches, but only for money bags, not for the other stuff. And something I said in while talking about Doc. So each other player does not take 5 cards. Everybody has 6 cards, and Doc has 7 cards. I'm sorry. Now you can rewind and check if I actually said 5 cards, but I'm pretty sure that I said it. Don't take the fun out of it for the people. That's what YouTube is for. Go for him and go, oh, what did you say? You stupid.
You always interrupted me with what I was saying. You were not
you interrupted the viewership in their enjoyment. Anyway, please.
Where was I? On the couch, I know. No, I guess you oh yeah, the poker theme. I really like that you have the poker mechanic. I can see you on the screen. It's so distracting. I'm already short-sighted and I still can see him. Damn it. So I really like the poker mechanic of the game, which actually I think is the thing that makes it hilarious, because you can kind of deduce what the other players have on their hand, which cards, but the longer or the further you are in the game, the less you can really deduce what kind of cards they could play. So it's more of a poker mechanic than a deducing mechanic. What do
you mean with a poker mechanic?
You poke, especially when you go into a tunnel, you pretty much...
You mean playing a hidden card?
Yeah. You poker... Is she going to go there?
I think.
What does the other one have? Can I punch him, or am I just going for the loot? Which is more important? You not really only deducing, because the other person could have the bullet card in their hand, and they're not gonna tell, and they can make you screw up your own turn just by thinking the other player has a certain cards in hand.
I think what you mean is bluffing, because poker mechanic kind of...
Yeah,
for me, poker mechanic is there's something like a full house or a straight.
I think there is the full houses if you don't have any bullet cards in your hand when you draw. The other one is when you have a good hand is when you have one of each card. So 1 up and down, 1 moving, or 2 loots is really good. Yeah. And I consider the punch being stronger than the shooting thing, although you get a bonus at the end if you shot the most bullets. That is true, but so I think it's more of a poker feel to the game.
That might be something that you, who are not German viewers, may be mistaken about, because I rarely hear people from other countries talk about You really don't like that.
No, I don't like it. And I built those trains. I was sitting here, and now I'm building the trains the way they were supposed to be. So say something before I do my rating.
So when we talk about poker mechanic, that actually is more about having a poker face and doing the bluffing thing.
Not a certain hand.
Rather than having the set building poker mechanic.
True. Yeah, but all in all, I think it's a wonderful game that is really very nice to play. Again, like I said, with kids or the not so heavy gamer kind of group. I think it gets really boring after the second round if you have the heavy gamers on the table. But then again, I could be mistaken. Anyways, my rating is for the thing that it is. It's on my rating from 1 to awesome. It's awesome. It's a great family game, and I really, really like the theme, though I'm not the Western girl, and if you make the melody, I'm gonna punch you, I promise. Don't. And this really is very gorgeous. It's very appealing, so with all the goodness in that box, it's an awesome family game, and I really like it.
You can enhance it to Awesome +1 in that case by playing soundtracks made by Ennio Morricone. However, if she's around, you may forfeit your life doing so.
Yeah, so please don't.
I think
that would be actually a fun experience. Segway. If you'd try playing the, not a fun experience, but a once in a lifetime experience, if you'd play the soundtrack while playing
the last in a lifetime experience, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it's once in a lifetime.
It's
shortens.
Again, there's this little as a concrete experience I recall playing this, but it has lots of you thought you could do that? No, screw you! Everybody is shooting at him or doing something like that.
It was actually one thing that I remembered during the game that we played with your parents and your uncle. You were far ahead in the first part of the game, and I was curious if there was a bounce back opportunity for all of us, or if you had an early lead, it would make sure that you'd win the game. And there is a total bounce back. He was pretty much third or fourth place in the end, just because your mom punched the hell out of you, and I looted behind her, like following, tagging along, just looting, and that was really surprising to me, I have to say. But also very funny thing.
On the contrary, my dad was shot by almost everybody, including the marshal. So I think he had like 7 wounds, which is ridiculous high for
everybody. But we didn't all aim at him, but he got in the way. It's like tumbling, woo, daddy in the way. So oops, shot you. I didn't want to. I wanted to shoot him, but why are you standing there? Now I have to shoot you. I'm very sorry.
So instead, I'm using this opportunity for our weekly German of the Day lesson. So you heard me mention Once Upon a Time, which actually has a different title in German that is way more applicable to this game. In German, it's called Spiel mir das Lied vom Tod, which translates roughly to play the song of death.
For me, please. I was thinking you'd go with the Dinglish lesson of the day, shooting in the blunderfuts.
No, that is Swedish.
Swedish, okay.
That is
it
actually
sounds like
the,
German
from
English.
No, that's from the cook in Muppets. The
Swedish chef.
When he tries to make the stuff I don't like. I don't remember the English word for it.
Brussels sprouts?
Yes.
Or
where he throws up a full cabbage and then shoot him in the blunderfuts, shoots it with a shotgun, and then all the
Brussels sprouts come down. No, but that would fit. We use that term also to say that I'm shooting somebody in the face when playing something. So I thought, it's interesting. It almost sounds German put into English. pronunciation. Whatever. Anything you want to add? Anything you remember that was crazy cool? It was always a very good experience playing. Yeah. It was a very good time. It wasn't boring. Yeah. And again, like you said, the more players, the better that game is. And that pretty much wraps up Colt Express.
Yeah.
Express, fast. Hey, we're so fast with the video. We could make half an hour maybe.
Well, it depends how long you keep on talking though.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the video by saying thanks.
Goodbye! This time we're really quick.
I'm going to shoot him. I'm very sorry, next week I will be alone on the Gamer's Couch because this one is either in hospital or dead. I told you that...
I'm becoming a dad?
No.
Did I miss something?
No. You're a dad to the reference duck. That's all of the dad you will be. No, Can I please 1 week only, please? Thank you. God damn it. Thanks very much. I'm screwing it up. God damn it. Thanks very much for watching. Have a very good Sunday. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to let us know, please write it down in the comment section below. Otherwise, we're going to see you next week with a new game, and maybe, I hope it will work, a very special guest on the Gamer's Couch. We'll see if that works out, and have a very good one. Like and share this video if you feel like other people should see our silliness, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for lots of art, gaming, and cooking videos. Have a very good one, and now, my sweet love, you are allowed to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Auf Wiedersehen. German for goodbye.